We're going to take a tour of 3 versions of Microsoft Excel for Windows. Excel 2003, we'll look at that first. This is an older version of Excel, but it's still very useful. And when you open Excel 2003, you will see all of your menu items here at the top. One of the first things you might want to do when you get a version of Excel is to install the Analysis Tool Pack. That's from the Add-ins menu. With Excel 2003, we go to Tools and Add-ins to do that. Notice I already have the Analysis Tool Pack and the Analysis Tool Pack VBA modules installed. And it's a good idea to have those 2 Analysis Tool Packs installed, regardless of whether you use resampling stats or not. Opening files, you can do that from the File menu. There's, by the way, what I just clicked, I'll show you another example in a minute. After a certain amount of time, Excel and Microsoft products will hide the larger menu for you to see all menu items. You need to click that little down arrow. Let me go ahead and load resampling stats. Resampling stats will present you with a floating toolbar which you can dock if you want. I've just done that. If you want to access the resampling stats add-in, you can do that from the Tools menu. Notice here's the little expand menu. The resampling stats menu item then is located here in the Tools menu. The Data Analysis Tool Pack is also in Tools, and you'll use that quite a bit in the intro courses. Several analysis statistical tools are available here. Insert is a very useful menu item. You can insert rows, columns, cells, functions. One you probably use most often would be the functions. The insert function dialog allows you to select functions to use in Excel. If you know what the function is, you can always type it directly into the worksheet cell itself, but you can also select them and insert them. Notice that since I was in cell A1 to begin with, when I click Insert Function, Excel guesses that I actually do want to insert a function, so it starts off with an equal sign. And of course the equal sign is what you have to have in order to use a function or do any kind of arithmetic operations within Excel. You can also access the Insert Function menu by clicking the little F of X button here. It does the same thing. Outside of that, Excel 2003, again, the menu items are found at the top. You can explore these on your own with data. You can do various things like sorting. If you wish to create a chart, the Chart Wizard button is located here, and that's what you would use to create the charts that we would use for Excel. Okay, now one other add-in you might use is Box Sampler. With Box Sampler, it creates in Excel 2003 its own menu item at the top. It does not do this in Excel 2007 or 2010. I'll show you that in a minute. But here's the Box Sampler menu, and if you want to create a Box Sampler model, you would simply select that menu item, click on New Model. For the most part, we'll keep the default on the Startup dialog, and there's our Box Sampler dialog. And notice that it also places the Box Sampler click buttons, menu, whatever you want to call it, floating toolbar up here. I can move the resampling stats toolbar. Okay. Anyway, that's Box Sampler and Excel 2003. Now, let's go to Excel 2007. We don't want to save anything here. Excel 2007 was a little bit of a shock for those of us used to earlier versions of Excel. We still have menu items at the top, but underneath these menu items, these were called ribbons. And the key for Excel 2007 was this Office button. Clicking on the Office button allows you to access the new, the open, save, save as, and also Excel options. So again, if you want to install the Analysis Tool Pack, then you would do that from the Office button, Excel options, and go to Add-ins, and once again the Analysis Tool Pack VBA items are checked. Also from the Office button and Excel options, we have the Trust Center. Usually whenever you want to run Box Sampler or resampling stats, you have to go to the Trust Center and make certain that you click macro settings. Let me back up actually. and do that a little more slowly. And there's a similar thing in Excel 2003. I can go back and show that to you in just a second. But we want to go to Trust Center Settings, Macro Settings, and make sure that we enable all macros. If you're downloading workbooks or VBA code and you're not certain where you're getting the VBA code or the workbooks from, then yeah, it is dangerous to just run an unknown workbook or unknown code. But resampling stats and box samplers should be fine. In fact, need to have macros enabled for them to run. Also, trust access to the VBA project model, and that's basically what you need to do in terms of Trust Center settings. Okay, now back to Excel 2007. The home provides all the formatting items here. Insert. This is where you would. They've taken the chart wizard and placed it in the insert menu. That's fine. You can create hyperlinks if you want. Also can add functions. Basically, for Excel 2007, I use the insert function button next to the address bar. Page layout, formulas, and here the insert functions. If you want a menu item, it's under the formulas. Data contains the data. This is the analysis tool pack. It's in data analysis. It brings up the same analysis tool pack that Excel 2003 has. Review, and again, editing. This is page views. You may not have the developer menu enabled. Since I do some programming, I have it. And then the add-ins. Any add-ins that you install will be found here in the add-ins menu. Let me go ahead and add Box Sampler. See, there's the Box Sampler menu, and I'll also add the Resampling Stats menu. And notice again, it's found in the add-ins menu. So Resampling Stats and Box Sampler both are found in this add-ins menu. So basically that's Excel 2007. And I'll get out of this. And briefly, very quickly, I'm going to go back to Excel 2003. To change the Trust Center, basically we would call it Trust Center for 2003 to allow you to run Box Sampler and Resampling Stats. You need to go to Tools and Macro, and then down to Security. And then this is what you would want to do when the security dialog comes up. You want to put this on low security, and basically that's enough. Okay, now Excel 2010, and to my mind, this is my opinion, I think 2010 is probably takes the best of both worlds. There were some nice things about 2007. 2010 goes back, gets rid of the Office button, which personally I wasn't real crazy about, but we now have a menu that is similar to Excel 2003, but it still has the ribbons. In brief, I like Excel 2010. If you can upgrade to it, you should. Excel 2010, under the File, we've got Save, Save As, Open. In other words, the usual menu items. Here are the options where, once again, you can access add-ins to install the Analysis Tool Pack. You also can use options to go to the Trust Center settings, and then we'll go to Macro Settings and make sure we enable all macros, and then trust the VBA project model. Okay, other menu items. We've got Insert, and again, here's your chart wizard. Also Sparklines. This I'm not as familiar with this as I probably should be. Let's go to Page Layout. Formulas, inserting functions, same function dialog as in the other two versions. Data, here's where we would find our data analysis tool pack under Data. And there's the data analysis tool pack. Review, View for page layout, and then the add-ins. And once again, if we install, we'll install Box Sampler. Where is Box? There's Box Sampler. Once Box Sampler installs, and it will run in Excel 2010, the menu is in the add-ins menu right here. JMP is another add-in that I have. Okay. So there's Box Sampler. I won't go ahead and start that. And let's bring in resampling stats. And there's the resampling stats menu and the resampling stats menu bars. And here's the resampling stats menu. So essentially this is Excel 2010. All versions, Excel's Excel. All versions of Microsoft Excel work in a similar way, and there really isn't anything that, if all you have is Excel 2003, there's nothing wrong with that. I liked Excel 2003. You should be able to do everything in Excel 2003 that you can do with Excel 2007 or 210. Likewise with the other versions. I don't have a Macintosh. I don't have the Mac versions of Excel, but the commands that we use, and there should be a Mac analog, with the possible exception in the later versions of Mac Excel, there may not be an analysis tool pack.